What's up everyone, V here, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Star Wars The Black Series Phase 1 Clone Trooper Lieutenant and 332nd Ahsoka's Clone Trooper from Star Wars Ahsoka, or Ahsoka as everyone else except the Black Series calls it. If you want to know why I put quotations around Lieutenant, they call him a Lieutenant. This is not a clone lieutenant. I'll get a bit more into that when we talk about the figures. But yeah, these are from Ahsoka, and you might be like, what? This just seems like a Clone Wars figure 2-pack, and it basically is, but spoiler alert if you somehow haven't seen Ahsoka, which, by the way, love that show. One of my favorite pieces of recent Star Wars media. But basically, they're from the flashback. Again, where I put emphasis on when do you even see the lieutenant? It's one of those, like, this guy where they called him Apo, but, like, it's from Kenobi, and you see the clones for, like, 5 seconds, and you're like, it's not really anybody, it's just a 501st trooper, but they just decided to call him Apo. Also, I have a crackpot theory on why they named him Apo instead of 501st. I think, I might be shooting out there, but I think it's because they already have, like, a Black Series 501st single-carded figure. Not carded, but, like, single-released figure. And I don't think they wanted that to happen, like, have two 501st single releases out there. Because if you look back at pretty much all the Clone Troopers, besides, like, the plain whites, none of them alternate. They're either in a pack or single released. There's not like two of the same clone single released, besides of course the plain, like, I think phase white and maybe plain phase 2. So that's what I think. I'm like, oh, maybe they just don't want single releases of the same type of clone with the same name, maybe just to contrast sales or something like that. So maybe they wanted them different names, but also at the same time, there's like 50 Mandalorians, so I don't know exactly what I'm saying. Anyway, also go check out that review. That one's a pretty cool one, and I will go way more in depth as to why I love this Clone Trooper mold, which these two are on in that vid. But yeah, love Ahsoka. Also, big news for the channel, we hit 100 subscribers. I know that seems like a small number, but I've been doing the channel for, is it 2 years? If it's 2 years, that's insane. Almost 2 years. That's a long time. It feels like a year, but thinking of it, I believe it's 2. Yeah, because we started in 2021, is 2024. Ew. Time, not 2021, 2022 we started. Now it's 2024. Time is weird. But yeah, I will try to think of what the 100 subscriber special will be and what I'll do. I think I might just show off my vinyl collection. I was going to do a room tour, but like I want to get the vinyls on the wall, and I want to do that before I show off the room because it will look a lot nicer. But anyway, before we get into this awesome 2-pack, which I think might be a Target exclusive. I've only ever seen it at Target. But yeah, I also just forgot it existed. I walked into, like, I remember when it got announced, I was like, oh my god, let's go, more clones, rah! And then I forgot it existed, and I walked into Target one day, and I was like, oh my god, clone 2-pack! I didn't expect to drop, like, $50 at Target, but here we are. Water, because it's incredibly hot, and I have to turn my fans off, so you don't just hear the entire video, so that just means I'm sweating to death. But yeah, before we look at these two bomb lads, we'll take a look at the packaging. Also, if you notice, I left 2 guns in. That's because I'm not taking them out, because it's just this gun and this gun twice, so I'll just showcase the singular ones. But yes, this is a Black Series 2-pack. I believe this is the first ever Black Series 2-pack I've ever gotten, and how fitting it is that it's Clone Troopers. But you got, yeah, the names, I'm not saying all that words. It's Clone Lieutenant and Ahsoka Trooper, basically. Star Wars Ahsoka, you got that nice teal turquoise? What color is that? Not too sure. Black Series, got the nice window. Black Series window, kind of bent there. You got some pretty cool artwork of both the clones. You got Clone Boy on top, Clone Boy on bottom. They look great. Then even bigger versions of the artwork. Throughout the Clone Wars, clone troopers fought separatist battle droids across the galaxy. Through little Republic support, though little Republic support, apparently I can't read, could be spared in helping Ahsoka Tano assist a besieged Mandalore. A 501st Clone Trooper Division pledged their loyalty to Ahsoka with repainted helmets. This doesn't talk about this guy at all. It's only talking about that guy. But yeah, there's also already, on a slightly newer mold, a version of this design. It was a Walmart exclusive. And if we're talking Clone Lieutenant, there's already a Clone Lieutenant that exists, but on the original mold. But these both, I think, are probably objectively better. But yeah. And before we get into them, we'll talk about the accessories. I don't know the clone gun names, so bear with me. But we have what I believe is a DC-17 carbide, or carbine. There's 2 of these, and then the big one, the big rifle, there's also 2 of them. I'm bringing them in. They look really nice. They're nice and detailed. And as you can see, they fit in the Clone Trooper's hands beautifully. You got the bigger one. It's the same gun we see with every single Clone Trooper. And of course, it fits equally as well in their hands. I also think on the box art, they're posed with these guns. And I didn't even mean to. I just threw what guns I felt like fit best with these guys. But I feel like more clones use this gun later in the war, but in the very beginning they use this. I'm not too sure. But anyway, that's about it. Also technically the helmets are accessories, but like, we'll get into it. But yeah, these are on the brand new Clone Trooper mold that was introduced with Apo. And I think these are the 3rd and 4th, or just 3rd use of the mold beyond Apo, and the plain phase white, which, that's a hair. It's a cat hair, which I haven't reviewed yet, but I will soon. And this mold is, if you haven't watched my Apo review, I love this mold with all of my heart. This is one of my favorite clone molds of all time. One of my favorite Star Wars figures of all time. I loved Apo. Loved him so much. Such a phenomenal figure. This is definitely the best Black Series Clone Trooper mold. The only way they could really improve it is getting a more movie accurate Phase 2 helmet, which it doesn't bother me, but I know it bothers a lot of people. I already love the clone mold, but when I got this 2-pack, it blew me away even more. We'll specifically talk about the one that really blew me away. But before we get into the one that I love and is now my favorite Black Series Clone Trooper, we'll talk about this guy, because it's pretty much the same as Apo, because he's the same mold, except different colors. Bringing Apo in, you can see the difference between the 501st designs on these figures. This is, of course, Clone Wars. This is, of course, Kenobi. And it's the same design, but there's just subtle differences, like it's thinner here, this is thicker, the lines are straight, whereas this one curves, they're closer together. This has the box painted in, this one doesn't. I wish it did, though. And also, because they just can never have a consistent blue throughout the Black Series. Like, although the darker blue is the more consistent one, but even then Rex matches him more. But most Black Series clones do fit this shade of blue a bit more, because most of them are based off the Clone Wars, and this is the color blue it has in the Clone Wars. But yeah, this is a great figure, and coming in to look at that head sculpt, or not head sculpt, but helmet, that looks super cool. And yeah, there is another version when the updated clone mold, not this one, the one before it, was introduced. They did a not 501st, but Ahsoka Trooper Walmart exclusive when, like, Season 7 first dropped. I never got that one because, of course, Walmart exclusive. But yeah, this one's definitely a miles better upgrade, and so far, easier to get. Yeah, the paint looks great. Love the Ahsoka Tano deco there. You got the black in there, and it's just regular 501st design there with a bit of battle damage throughout. One thing I noticed, this one's paint for the blue is on the very edge, where this one has like a proper ring like that, which is interesting. You can barely even see the blue around the wrist, so I do like the other version, but I do prefer the stripes being like this. I do not like the weird curve. But yeah, looks great, and everything else is just average clone. This torso is a rubber overlay, and these are the like rubber overlays that have like a ring in the arm so it can move with it, but also get out of the way and look natural. And yeah, this guy's great. And then because this mold is amazing, now every single clone trooper, even ones that aren't named, can have removable heads, which is great. I love that because I love being able to have my clones be able to take off their helmets, just be able to have them all without their helmets off. I loved doing that when I was little because most clone trooper figures from the Clone Wars show had removable helmets, and I hated that the Black Series didn't do that, especially when the Vintage collection did, so I'm so glad they're finally doing it. And the head sculpt is pretty good. It's not the best. Like I said in the Apo review, I think his is a much better Tamora Morrison. But it's not bad, and I am not complaining. I love it so much to be able to have my clone boys without helmets. And it's a nice likeness. You got the crew cut there, which looks nice. You just pop the helmet back on, and he's great. There's not a whole lot to talk about because, again, it's literally just Apo, but with Ahsoka markings on his head. So if you want a more in-depth talk of the mold, check out that Apo review. But yeah, that was the 332nd or Ahsoka Trooper. Let's get to the one that I'm really going to sink my teeth into because he's different. And also, he's the one that really just made me, like, bring back even more passionate love for a clone trooper figure. Whenever I was little, I collected, like, so many Phase 1 troopers, because from the Clone Wars, there were way more Phase 1 trooper figures than Phase 2. So whenever I did the Black Series, because most of them are Phase 2 anyway, I decided I'm not going to get any of the Phase 1s. And this pack comes with a Phase 1. And I was like, he'll be cool, but he'll stand out a bit. But, like, when I got him out the package, I don't know what it was, but, like, even though I already had Apo, I already had the mold, and had my mind blown away with how great that Apo figure was, this guy somehow just brought back that exact same feeling of getting blown away with opening a figure that's just really cool, which is crazy because it's a clone trooper, and there's like all the clone trooper figures are of the same design, yet somehow my mind's blown away again, even though it's not a fresh mold, because this guy is pretty much perfection. Whereas the 501st Trooper, the helmet is more like a mix of live action and Clone Wars, so it's not exactly perfect. This guy's perfect. Like, this Phase 1 helmet is literally the Phase 1 design. Like, this is great. Also, why I kept putting quotations on the Lieutenant is because this is just a 501st Phase 1 Trooper. The Lieutenant has dots on the chest, and the stripe goes all the way down. He doesn't have either of those, so I don't know why they called him a lieutenant. Especially when they recently released a lieutenant figure. They know what the design is. I don't know. I don't know what's up with the clone naming recently, but it doesn't matter. I don't really care, because it doesn't really affect the figure at all. But yeah, it's odd that they named him that, but this, I love him so much. Also, he just looks really good. Bringing in a closer look of that helmet. Now, I believe this is the same as like the plain white Phase 1 that was released on the mold previous to this one, before the update. And I think they are releasing just on this mold a plain Phase white trooper. A plain Phase white? A plain white Phase 1 trooper on this mold soon, which honestly I'm gonna pick up now because I love this figure so much. It looks so good. Like, that's that nails that Phase 1 helmet design. The mouth looks great. The blue looks beautiful. Also, one thing I wanted to mention on him, on the mouth, there's no bleeding, which I noticed was kind of a problem on these guys. The ends kind of weren't as sharp and perfect. But I think it's because he has the orange paint that it made the mouth look crisp and clean, which is really cool. And he, of course, has the exact same thing. He also has the gray right there, some black painted, and they even painted the red back there. I don't get the red. Why is that there? It's a weird detail, but they painted it. That's cool. And of course, the rest of it's the same mold, but you have the blue stripe going down, which looks really great. This would also just be a good substitute if you wanted to, like, try to, like, update, like, this guy, like, somehow figure out a way to get these armor bits off. And you could probably do a bit of swapping to be able to get him with the more updated body if you wanted to, since it's the same type of striping. And you could even attempt to make a Captain Rex. I'm not entirely sure how you do that, but, like, you could possibly do it. This guy's just a really cool figure. And the rest of it's just plain white clone trooper. But, like, I love him so much. He's so cool. And, of course, he has the removable helmet. Same head as before. Nothing crazy, but I love this figure so much. He just, look at him. He looks, oh, you can't look at him because it's blurry as hell. But, like, just look at him. Like, that looks really good. Like, that's a Phase 2 clone, not Phase 2, that's a Phase 1 clone trooper right there. He looks so good. Like, and it's so great being able to open up a figure, even a figure of a mold you already own, and it just feeling so fresh and new and great. And that's honestly what this guy, especially, the 2-pack did kind of have that feel, but this guy especially gave me that feeling. So yeah, these are really awesome. I love them so much. Now, articulation wise, both of them have dumbbell joints at the head, looking down, up that far, rotate, down, up that far, rotate. Both have arm out, rotate, slight butterfly, bicep swivel, single jointed elbow with rotation, hinge, side to side, and then the other hand has an up to down, moves that far forward, that far back, rotates, kicks that far forward, has to curve because clone trooper armor, as cool as it is not practical at all, especially that thigh piece. That is horrific design for, like, practicality. But it looks cool, can do the splits, can't really kick far back because that armored booty back there. Thigh swivel, single jointed knee, and because this is the new mold, the knee strap isn't glued to the top, so you can have it either way. Rotates, hinges up and down, and a rocker. Also, the elbow joint is a similar, like, rubbery piece. I think it might be glued in, but still. Also, I feel like while I was doing the articulation, it reminded me of something I wanted to say about the figure, but it slipped my mind now. Oh, what was it? It's not coming to me. Let's hope during the comparisons it comes to me. What's really gonna bother me? Hold up. Yeah, it's not coming to me. But anyway, comparison time. For an average Marvel Legends scale figure, here they are, next to Moon Knight. Well, let's put them in the middle. Here they are next to Moon Knight. He oddly has a bit more height because of that fin. And for a Voyager class Transformers comparison, here they are next to Bumblebee movie Shockwave. For a 7-inch scale comparison, here they are next to the DC McFarlane Black Manta. And the Jazzwares Halo 3 Master Chief. Train. And for some other Star Wars comparisons, here they are next to Captain Rex. We desperately need a new one of him. 5s, we already need a new one because this mold just obliterates this original mold out of the water. Ahsoka is the adult version, though. Apo, and a normal phase 2. But yeah, and if you had like a spare one, you could probably like paint up the helmet or make like, I don't know, a custom clone. Like, oh, look at that, that's a, you didn't get the, I don't know. This is my new custom clone. His name is Jim. He died violently on Umbara. He got stepped on by the giant worm thing and got blown up violently. But yeah. Do I recommend this 2-pack? Hell yes. I love it. I love it so much. Like, I love me some clones, and these are some phenomenal clone figures. I love them so much. Like, this new mold is so great. I hope they just keep the Clone Trooper related figures coming hard. Just hammer me with them. Please, I beg. Just keep releasing Clone 2-packs. Like, you don't even need to have a reason. Just be like, oh, Clone Wars. Like, please. I'll like buy 100 of this mold. I love it so much. But yeah, this mold is great. These figures are great. Love them both to death. Love him to death. Like, oh my god. You don't understand my love for this figure. This might be my new favorite Black Series figure, just because of how awesome he is. I love how he looks so much. Like, this is definitely the best figure on this mold, and it's crazy because he's the one I was looking forward to the least because he's a phase 1, but oh my god, did they nail that phase 1 helmet and just the look of this guy. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, subscribe, check out my previous reviews. Gonna try to get through more Black Series. The next Black Series, I'm gonna try to make them on the Bad Batch figures because the finale dropped. I've got a couple episodes in. I'm liking it a lot. And yeah, check out my Instagram, MoonNetXO. You can talk to me there. I'm doing a bunch of guitar videos now because I'm learning. And yeah, that's about it. Hopefully you have a wonderful day, and hopefully you're you don't get launched into some weird plane of existence where your master who turned evil takes you through a fun trip through a bunch of different wars you had to fight, and then tries to kill you. Because that is doesn't sound like a fun time. Anyway, peace.